Hey, what's up, mi gente? It's Anthony Rosa, the community finance coach, aka Mr. Remedy, and you are watching another show on the Roundtable Remedies. And I'm super excited to have my homegirl on the line, Ariagna Perello. Ariagna, welcome back. It's really great to see you. How you been? Tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you got up, what you're doing.
Well, Anthony, thank you once again for the invite. I just love being here in your roundtable. You are a phenomenal person. Everything you do is with a purpose, with a passion, and I feel your drive and I feel your motivation. So kudos to you and best of luck with everything that you're doing. So, Ariana, who is Ariana?
Amen.
Ariana
Thank you.
is someone that cares in every single aspect, whether you're in a professional setting where you're home, which as a matter of fact we're just having this discussion in my kitchen table. So I'm
Nice.
so happy that you were actually in a home, because I think that this conversation should be brought up in kitchen tables, where we have the hard conversations about our lives, our health, and everything that we do. So thank you once again for the opportunity to speak to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a pleasure to have you on and everything that you stand for. Here on the Roundtable Remedies, it was created to inspire, connect, and educate you with real people, real stories. And today we're going to be talking about your foundation, Ariagna. And when we were talking prior to the show and just catching up, it's really important, right? I agree. These conversations are changing the narrative, and we are standing in the gap. So, why don't you tell the viewers a little bit more about your foundation and who you're looking to help?
Okay, the foundation is under my name, the Ariana Perello Foundation, and it was established back in 2021. Officially, under a different mission, it was established back in 2017. But back then, my purpose and my mission was completely different. At that time, which I still am a community activist, I was elected to the school board in the city of Newark back then. So my mission and vision was to assist parents and students with their education. But something happened back in 2020, 2021, where I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That was something that clearly I did not expect that was going to ever happen in my family. No one had breast cancer. So I went through the process, and then after I went through my process, I told many individuals that I went through it. And coincidentally, people started asking me for support, for guidance, because I went through it. Because of that, I changed the mission and vision to assisting patients that are undergoing breast cancer chemotherapy, and also individuals that just need help, because navigating the system is very complex. And when you hear the words, you have breast cancer in this case, it's like, what do I do? Where do I go? How can I get better? So those questions are questions that I could answer because I went through that process. And that's how the foundation changed its mission and vision to assist individuals who are actually going through that.
Wow, that was, I remember as you're saying, my mother going through that same situation and finding a lump on her breast from a mammogram. And the conversation that we have here on the Roundtable Remedies, they're very taboo, but it's very important conversation. So thank you for being brave and sharing your story. So tell us a little bit more. So what happened after?
So, how I discovered that I had breast cancer. One night I was sleeping to my side, and I was feeling that something was hurting, which wasn't normal. So I went downstairs to my mom, and I said, "Can you just touch this for me?" And she was like, it feels like a lump." So immediately, well, actually, not immediately, because now we're talking about having health insurance. At that moment, I had lost my job, and I didn't have health insurance. So I'm like, oh my God, what to do now? So I applied for health insurance. It took a bit, and then I went to the doctors, and that's how everything started. They did a whole biopsy, they did the whole examination, and coincidentally, I did have breast cancer. One of the things that I have to say that, they're not paying me for this commercial, but Memorial Sloan for me is a lifesaver. I went to the one in Basking Ridge, and I started my process. Unfortunately, I'm very hands-on in many things that I do. If you know me, you know I'm really hands-on. At that time, I was planning my daughter's sweet 16. When I discovered that I had it, it was back in June. And again, I'm very hands-on. So I told my doctor, well, doc, have my surgery now because I need to do my daughter's sweet 16. She was like, are you crazy? I'm like, yes, I am kind of crazy. So we had postponed the surgery till after the party was over. Unfortunately, when I had the surgery, it grew from 1 centimeter to 3 centimeters. So I actually put myself at risk because, of course, I'm a mom and we don't think about ourselves, we think about our children. But I went through that process and I didn't tell my daughter until the night, actually, my daughter and my grandmother the night before. And what I did was before the surgery, I take things serious, but when you tell people, or in this case, my daughter, my grandmother, and my entire family, I made it a joke. I said, well, tomorrow I'm having surgery, but everything will be okay because I have, which I purchased, a breast cake, a boob cake. So I actually came out with a cake, and we all laughed, and of course everything went well. After the surgery was over, I didn't expect. Well, I had a deep flap. The deep flap is where they take skin or fat from your skin, and they do the whole, breast reconstruction. Then, well, I was perfectly fine. I was like, whatever, it's just surgery. I'm normal. Then they said I needed to have chemotherapy. With chemotherapy, I was like, damn, I need chemotherapy. I'm gonna, lose my hair. But I just went through it like nothing ever happened. When I started receiving my sessions which was about almost 2 hours long, they said after the first session you will start losing your hair. I had long hair. I'm like, are you serious? Is there anything that I could do? Can I buy? Can I take a pill or something, like a magic pill? No, not to lose my hair. And they said, well, you
What were you going through, real quick? I wanted to ask you, what was your mindset? Because with the loss of the job, and then with the insurance, and with your daughter's sweet 16, how was your mindset? How were you trying to keep yourself sane?
busy, busy. Do events, go to events, um, work. So I was keeping myself busy so I don't have to think about what I was going through. I knew that I was going through it, but I didn't want to think about it. And then one thing that actually helped me a lot was the Facebook groups. I didn't tell anybody, only 5 people knew that I was going through this process, which was my immediate circle. And I was looking at these Facebook groups, and they were the one pretty much telling me, well, you're going to go through this, that, and this, and that. So then moving forward, the chemotherapy, I did my session, and 3 days later, I woke up and I started seeing hair in my pillow. I'm like, oh, damn, it's starting. Then when I took a shower, my hair was falling. So bit by bit, my hair was falling. And to me, that was where it hit me. I'm losing my hair. Females love their hair because actually it doesn't make who you are, but it's a part of you.
Of
So when I was
course.
losing my hair, I I got to a point where is there anything that I could do? The doctor said, well, you could buy the cold cap. I did the cold cap, but it didn't work. My hair was falling left and right, and I couldn't see myself in the mirror. Um,
Hmm.
I had to wear like a hat, and luckily, it happened during COVID, where we were home. I wasn't going out. Obviously, nobody was going out. So I was losing my hair while I was home, which that was it was pretty much great. Um, I cried once. I cried once when I lost my hair and I told my mom, I know I asked my mom, why me? That question is something you ask yourself in the beginning. Why do I have cancer? And I said to myself, why not me? What makes me so special not to have it? But I asked myself that question, the why me, when I was losing my hair. I cried like a baby. Um,
Mm,
but I'm considered to be strong. And the next day, I picked myself up and acted like nothing happened. And my hair started growing after the year. It was weird when I had no hair. I had to wear a hat. I had to, I actually even bought a wig, but
mm,
wig didn't fit me. I mean, it just wasn't who I am, who I was at that moment. And I just wore a hat, and that's it. And then after the process finished, um, people kept on asking me questions, especially when I had my last chemotherapy session back in well, it was 2 weeks ago, 5 years ago, and I posted it on social media. Hey, I'm cancer free. They was like, what? You had what? So I received, I could easily say, when I told the world, almost 2,000 messages on Facebook and people texting me. And you know that you're loved by many because of who you are, but you really don't know that you're loved until you see it. When people just were saying, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "Why? What are you gonna do? Like, I'm the one that's going through it." And they all said, "I'll pray for you." When I was reading those stuff, like, oh my
mm,
God, people do love me. I'm
mhm.
doing good. And one thing I generally have to say, that sometimes when you're a community leader and you do things to assist many individuals, in different aspects, and you don't see the return, for
True.
me it was okay because I got my blessing through God. My faith
Amen.
carried me through the entire process. And I'm glad to say I just celebrated recently my 5th year mark. And
Woo.
the foundation is growing. People do ask me, how can I support? I have events constantly, and that's it. That's my story.
So wow, this is, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for sharing it. And it's not the first time you're sharing it on the round table, but in this setting, it's more one on one, more personal. And, we had some of those rock stars, those accountability partners. So I want to shout out Rocky and Dr. Baral. They're watching, they've been engaging with us. Thank you guys for staying on and sharing. And, being a rock for Ariagna. I think that if you are going through something right now, you're not going through it alone. And there's been so many times in my life where I felt like I hit a rock bottom and I was alone, or I felt alone, right? And I thank my higher power. I give him all glory. And so we definitely have to understand that it takes a village. And here on the round table, we're trying to create that village. So thank you so much. Your strength and what you're doing right now, it's so motivating, to especially to the women and the young women that are around you. So with that said, what is your call to action? How can people get involved? Get checked, support the initiative. What's your call to action?
One call to action that I really wanna highlight for those that actually saw the Super Bowl. If you actually paid attention to the commercials, the majority was health. It was, whether it was for Pfizer, or it was for something for with breast cancer. And there was a commercial that actually stood out. It was in regards to breast cancer. We as the women, we like seeing what we have, or either we don't like it because we want it bigger, we want it smaller. Men, they find it attractive and stuff like that, but we don't take care of it. We don't go to the doctors. We don't have our mammograms. Yes, they say have your mammogram at the age of 45. Now it's getting younger. I was diagnosed when I was 37. So if you have the opportunity, whether you feel something or you don't, get checked, because you never know. You never
Mm.
know. And the call to action is, what I do is I have events, whether it's the Pink Award, where I'm celebrating breast cancer survivors, and with that event, I give checks to the survivors, so they could either keep it for themselves, so they could help themselves, or donate it to their preferred organization. Number one, and number two, I actually have a golf outing. That
I
golf
love
outing,
that golf outing.
we did it last year, which was a success. And it's geared to both men and women. So that golf outing is going to be, what, this year, September the 30th. So
Yeah,
if you guys either
I can't wait.
hit the ball like me or actually play golf, just come in and join us. And also, if you are willing to donate wigs or any supplies to any chemo patients, please send them my way, because they actually will appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we have a couple of events lined up. We have a call to action. So for those that are watching, don't stay stuck, right? We're creating a village. This is your village. And let's talk a little bit about this event. We have an event, Rise and Thrive 2025 Woman Empowerment event. You're going to be talking more about your story March 27th. Are you excited for it?
I am so excited. It's an event that you have to attend. You have to attend. You have to sponsor, because thank you, Anthony, for your initiative, for your vision. You have captured individuals. I mean, phenomenal speakers. Phenomenal speakers that have a story, and every single one of those speakers, could relate to, whether it's someone that's young, someone that's in their 50s, or someone that's in their hundreds. You never know. But it's an event that you have to come out and support, because the knowledge, the insight, the tips and tricks that you're going to get is going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So Rise and Thrive 2025, women empowerment. Men are invited to this event. We have to support. We have an amazing cast, like you said. I'm not even sure how this just landed on my lap. I think God gave me that vision of discernment, and He gave me that confidence just to ask. Right. Sometimes there's a vision that we all have, or a goal, or something we want to accomplish. It's like the innocent bystander approach, right? So if there's something that you're passionate about and you want to do it, do it. Don't wait for the right moment. There's never going to come that right moment. So you just have to figure it out, roll up your sleeve, send out those invites, put that flyer, set that date, and don't look back. Ariagna, thank you so much for coming on. You know that towards the end of the show, I always do this final thoughts segment. And again, I want to remind everybody the call to the action. How can they get involved? What are your final thoughts on tonight's show?
Have faith. Roll up your sleeves. No, if you think about something, if you have that little light bulb that go, pshing, in your head, and then in your head, it's because God is telling you to do it. Obviously, if it's positive, of course. Um,
Of
God is
course.
telling you to do it, right? So do it. Do not think about it twice, because if you do not do it, then you don't know who can you help. So do whatever comes to your minds, and that's it. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll, baby. So it's still early. It's Q1 2025. We have a lot of momentum building. I'm super excited. March 27th. And, don't stay home for this event. Come out, $50 early bird special. We have a five-course meal. It's going to be great. Music. We're going to have some swag bags. It's going to be lit. With that said, Ariadne, I love that you talked about faith. And our closing quote tonight, brought to you by Voltaire: faith consists in believing when it is beyond the power of reason to believe. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for those that were watching. Please like, comment, share, and go in grace, go in peace. Thank you, Ariagna, for coming on. This is Anthony Rosa, the community finance coach, aka Mr. Remedy. See you soon.